Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sri Shailaabhijanamburashishanam Sri Krishna Tatatmajam Sri Shailanve Devanath Sudhya Praptagamantadvayam Padabje Narsimhatate Guru Nyastatma Rakshabharam Vidvadvanda Chakora Chandiramaham Ramanujaryam Shraye Sriranga Sudha Madhusamaswadayantam Sriranga Mahishi Padapankajatmajam Sulabhashrayam Sadamoda Siddhamadbhutam भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयार्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोद्भपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुं अन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गार्धासनासीनां करुणामं मातरं गुरुरूपपरञ्ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतते कुरु विज्ञानमन्दिरम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. Salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus. Will commence our session today. Wishing you all a very happy Navaratram. They call it Navaratri, but the Sanskrit name for that is Navaratram, not Navaratri. And as we all know, the so-called Pitrupaksham just ended. I hope most of you are aware of that. Mahalaya Paksham, they call it. As human beings who are born in this world, we have duties that we have to discharge. First of all, to ourselves, then to our ancestors, to our peers, to our future generations, and so on and so forth. And in Sanatana Dharmam, all of these are accommodated with great ease. And coming to the ancestors, we need to ensure that those who have given us this body, isn't it? Shariram Adyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. This body has been given to us by our parents, and they got their bodies from their parents. And finally, when you go deeper and deeper, right, we are all born out of the Jagannatha Pitrus. So therefore, it is very important to pay our obeisance to our elders who are no more in this life, in this physical form. So those who are so-called adhikaris, as they call it, that is those who have lost their parents, they are supposed to perform the Naimitya Karma, as they call it, Nitya Karma and Naimitya Karma. Nitya Karma is to be performed daily, right? Naimitya Karma is to be performed once in a while, Nimittam, whenever there is an occasion, as they call it. And we are supposed to remember our forefathers once every month at least. There used to be 96 occasions a year, right? The Upavitam that we wear is called Shannavati or 96. There are 96 times a year we are supposed to pay obeisance in the form of Tarpana. Tarpana means Tripti Tarpane, right? We are supposed to please our elders who are no more there in the physical form. And by default, we presume, unless they have attained moksham, they would have ascended to the Pitrulokam. Or they can be anywhere in the 14 lokas. But by offering the Tila Tirtham, they get pleased. And there is a very deep science behind it. I will not go into it right now, but suffice it to say that performing the Pitru Tarpanam 96 times is ordained on us. If that is not possible, do it at least twice a month, once during Amavasya, another time during the what we call as Mada Pirap, that is when the month starts, right? Soramanam month starts, we are supposed to perform the Tarpanam. Then there can be occasions such as eclipses when we perform. But the prominent one among them is the Mahalaya Paksham. And Mahalaya Paksham is a Paksham where, as the name indicates, Mahalayam. Most of the Pitrus, many of them, if they have not had progeny and they left their bodies, many of them perhaps would not even have had their samskaram when they left the body. So such of those Pitrus as well as other Pitrus, this is the best time to perform the Tarpanam. And there are certain days on which this needs to be performed. And most of you are familiar with it. I don't have to go through it. But of course, the Paksham itself is gone. Yesterday was the last one. It is Mahalaya Amavasya. And it is befitting that the moment we are satisfied having paid our respects to our ancestors, now we turn towards the Devas, isn't it? Te Deva Bhavayantuvaha Parasparam Bhavayantaha Shreya Paramavapsyata, as it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Devan Bhavayatanena Te Deva Bhavayantuvaha. So in the ascending hierarchy, as is mentioned in the Taittiriya Upanishads, right? Sayeka Pitrinam Chiralokalokanam Anandaha Shrotriyasya cha kamah tasya Te Shatam Pitrinam Chiralokalokanam Anandaha. After the Pitrulokam comes the Devalokam, and the 9 nights that we celebrate now, Navaratra, is known as Sharan Navaratra. There is also another Navaratra which is celebrated during the Vasanta season. That is called Vasanta Navaratra. In fact, there are probably more than 4 Navaratras, and it is a matter of celebration of the life itself. And when we talk of life, we are all born from the Jagannatha, and we celebrate her in the Shakti Swarupam. And most of us are familiar that these 9 nights are divided into 3, isn't it? First 3, next 3, and last 3, to the 3 Shaktis, Mahalakshmi, Saraswati, and Durga Devi. And let us seek their blessings. In fact, this season is not only for spirituality, but if you look at the entire prosperity or economy that it drives, it's probably $1 billion industry. All the 4 Varnas are involved in Navaratra celebration. So most of us decorate our house with the dolls, isn't it? Golu, as we call it. And the people who produce it, the people who transact it, the people who protect the process by which it reaches everybody, and the people who are supposed to understand what it is meant for and lead a higher life. All the four varnas are involved. And no better way to celebrate Navaratri than by performing a variety of pujas at home. And those of you who are in London, and Anusha has probably already invited most of you, but take this as an open invitation. You are welcome any of these evenings to visit our house and partake the blessings of the Divine Mother. So we'll continue our session now. We were in the we concluded the Dvavimshaha Sargaha, which was Masadvaya Adhikaranam. Now we are in the Rakshasi Prarochanam, right? And this particular chapter is all about so the demons, the demonesses rather, they try to scold and try to orient Sita Mata towards Ravana, right? 23. Ityuktva Maithilim Raja Ravana Shatru Ravanaha Sandishya cha tatas sarva Rakshasir Nijjagamaha. Having mentioned in this manner, which we saw in the previous chapter, that Ravana was extremely angry. He gave an ultimatum of 2 months from that point onwards. So he is known as a Shatru Ravana, right? The word Ravana is somebody who is a tormentor of others. And Shatru Ravana, so he is a tormentor of enemies particularly. So he commanded his own demonesses who were there, Sandishyacha tatas sarvaha rakshasihi. So he told them, right, now I delegate the authority to terrify Sita to all of you, right? Each one of you is extremely capable. You have 1 eye, 2 eyes, 3 eyes, 1 ear, no ear, etc. Ensure that you create terror in Sita's mind in such a manner that she is oriented towards me. Nishkante rakshasendre tu punarantah purangate rakshasyo bhimarupastaha Sitam samabhidudruvuhu. What did the Rakshasis do? Rakshasendre Nishkrante, the moment Ravana disappeared from that scene, right, he went into the Antahpuram Gate. Bhimarupaha taha Rakshasya. So the Kruramana form, those who had a terrifying appearance, so they ran towards Sita, right? So they left Ravana, so they probably accompanied Ravana a little while, and then they returned to Sita. What did they do? Then on, Tata Sitam Pagamya Rakshasya Krodhamurchitaha Param Parushaya Vacha Vaidehi Midamabruvanne. Sitam Upagamya, having come closer to Sita, these Rakshasis are Krodhamurchitaha, right? It is not mentioned that they had Krodham or they were angry. They were almost unconscious because of Krodham. That is the meaning. Imagine. That is the heights of getting anger. We all, perhaps in our lives, we get into some state, we are fighting, right? Especially if you remember the fights that used to happen long, long ago when ladies go to fetch water under the taps. If many of you remember, that's the Suprabhatam we used to hear every day. Everybody having vessels and fighting with each other. The best among them would have the highest decibels, right? If you just go and touch them, you will get electric shock, right? So that's the Krodha Murchitaha. Their level of anger has ascended the citadels that now they are all trembling in anger. That's the meaning. And what did they do? Param Parushaya Vacha. They spoke in such a terrible language. It is not only Parusham, right? It is not palatable at all. Param Parushaya, that is something which you cannot even hear. पौलस्त्यस्य वरिष्ठस्य रावणस्य महात्मनः दशग्रीवस्य भार्या त्वं सीतेन बहुमन्यसे. Oh Sita, you know who Ravana is. So this is the Abhivade Angiresa Paurukutsya translation. We all say our Abhivade, right? Who is our lineage, who is the Rishi and all that. Like that here, the Rakshasis are saying he is belonging to the lineage of Pulastya, isn't it? Pulastya is a Maharishi, and he is the grandson of Pulastya. That is probably what it is. We are going to see that shortly. And he is a Mahatma, right? He is the grandson of a sage Avdingra, right? So this is an interesting way of enticing Sita Mata, isn't it? So see, this is what we should observe. Just because our ancestors were sages, it doesn't mean that we are sagely, if I can use that word, or saintly, right? So there is a bit of Prakriti that gets altered due to various reasons. And Dashagrivasya Bharyatvam. So they are already saying, you are the wife of Ravana, and why are you not treating this as a privilege? Na bahumanyase. ततस्त्वेकजटानाम राक्षसी वाक्यमब्रवीत् आमन्त्र्य क्रोधतां राक्षी सीतां करतलोदरीम्. So the first Rakshasi to come there is called as Ekajata, right? So she had a braid only which was single in nature, Ekajata. And how is she described? Tamra, Krodha Tamrakshi. Her eyes became reddish, coppery reddish, you know. And she started to speak to Sita, idam vakyam abravit. And who is Sita here? Karatalodarim, very interesting adjective to Sita Mata. Her hips or waist is very, very slim or slender. It is as wide as the palms, right? Kodi idayal, அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? प्रजापतीनां षण्णां तु चतुर्थो यः प्रजापतिः मानसो ब्रह्मणः पुत्रः पुलस्त्य इति विश्रुतः. So in case you don't know who Pulastya is, here is Pulastya's lineage. Shannam Prajapatinam yaha chaturthaha. So there are Prajapatis who were created by Pitamaha, right? Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. He created at the beginning of the creation. During the process, right, Brahma made a lot of trial and error. You know, he made experimentation. The moment he emerged from Padmanabha, right, the Lord's Sriman Narayana's navel, he was given the task of creation, right? And one of the first things he did, of course, there are many other things he did, was create these 6 Prajapatis, right, in order to institutionalize the process of creation. So he is delegating it to them. I don't have to worry about creation. Let me go back to my meditative state. I am the owner of 4 Vedas, right? Let me worry about them. And it's only 6 Prajapatis. Out of them, the 4th Prajapati is known as Pulastya. Chaturthaha Prajapatihi. And they are Brahmanaha Manasah Putraha, right? So they are all born simply by the mere thought of creation, right? So Saraswati Mata probably was not involved in this process, right? That's what we may think. But the moment Chaturmukha Brahma descends into Prakriti, he is already with Saraswati Mata, right? Manasa Putra means he is born out of thought, which means along with Saraswati Mata, he created Prajapatis, and Pulastya is the 4th of them. Pulastyasya tu tejasvi maharshir manasasutah namna sa Vishrava nama Prajapati samaprabha. Namna Vishrava nama Prajapati samaprabha. He had equal Tejas as Prajapati himself. And who is he is known as Vishrava. So Vishrava is the son of Pulastya, and he had the Tejas of his father, who is Pulastya. Purinjidho? Brahmaku Pilla Prajapati, 6 Prajapatis. One of the 6 Prajapatis is Pulastya, and Pulastya's son is Vishrava, right? And he was a Tejasvi, and again he is a Manasa Putraha அப்படிங்கிறார், ரைட்? எல்லாம் மைண்ட்லேயே சிருஷ்டி பண்ணிட்டு பாவம். தஸ்ய புத்ரோ விஷாலாட்சி ராவண சத்ரு ராவணः தஸ்யத்வம் ராட்சசேந்திரஸ்ய பார்யா பவித்துமர்ஹசி. And this Vishrava's son is Ravana. Vishrava had other sons also. Do you remember who they are? Vibhishana and Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna and Vibhishana. And he also had Kubera as another son. Kuberaya Vaishravanaya. Vishrava's son is Vaishravana, right? Maharajaya Namaha. So therefore, this Ravana is Rakshasendra. You are, you are supposed to be very lucky to be his wife. Bharya bhavitumarhasi. Mayoktam charu sarvangi vakyam kim nanu manyase tato harijata nama rakshasi vakyam abravite. Right? So this, what is this Rakshasi's name? Ekajata, I think, right? Ekajata is concluding her speech now. You better become Ravana's wife, and you don't seem to be paying attention to what I am speaking, right? And then she passes on the mic to another Rakshasi. What is her name? Maike Tevilla Valakku. Mayoktam Charu Sarvangi. Harijata is the other Rakshasi who takes over. Okay, what does she say? Vivartyanayane kopan marjara sadrishekshana yena devastrayastrimshate devarajascha nirjitaha tasyatvam rakshasendrasya bharya bhavitumarhasi. They all continue the same rhyming statement. Bharya bhavitumarhasi rakshasendrasya bharya is solitaire. No, nichikonga. What we are carrying on our shoulder is pumpkin. That is what will happen to normal human beings, right? But they don't know that she is not a normal human being, right? Tato, so Harijata takes over, and she also says, and she is Vivartya Nayane Kopate. So she also is quite angry, and she has cat eyes, abdingra Marjara Sadrisekshana. And she is saying he is not only Paulastya, Vishrava's son, as well as Pulastya's grandson, but he has won over all the Devas. Devas Trayastrimshate, 33 crore Devas. He has won over all of them, and Devaraja also, Indra. So he is indeed the overlord of many worlds. So therefore, you better become his Bharya. Tatastu praghasa nama Rakshasi krodhamurchita Bhartsayanti tada ghoram idam vachanam abravite. The mic is passed on to Praghasa Rakshasi. What did she say? Same thing. And she is also Krodha Murchita. Bhartsayanti. What did she say? Viryotsiktasya shurasya sangrameshvanivartinaha balino viryayuktasya bharyatvam kim nalipyase. So she's saying that he won over so many devas, all right, but he did that because he is somebody who is a very powerful person, balinaha, and viryayuktaha, quite courageous, valiant. He is a shura, he is a hero, and in all the wars that he has participated, shurasya sangrameshu anivartinaha. He never showed his back to his enemies. That's the meaning. Meaning he returned only victorious in all the wars that he has fought so far. Priyam bahumatam bharyam tyaktva raja mahabalah sarvasam cha mahabhagam tvam upaishyati ravanaha. You are so lucky that Ravana has left all his Priya Bharyas, right? His very dear wives, and he is running after you. Okay. And Sarvasam cha Mahabhagam, right? Among all the ladies that he has in his harem, he desires you, and you should be proud of that. Samurdham Stri Sahasrena Nana Ratnopashobhitam Antahpuram Sautsrujya Tvamupaishyati Ravanaha. See, these all Sahasranamam for Ravana, right? What are all his exploits, and all that will come now. So Ravana Stri Sahasrena, so he is endowed with thousands of wives, right? Samruddham, he is quite rich. Nana Ratnopashobhitam. Antahpuram, his inner chambers are decorated with all kinds of diamonds, jewelry, etc. And he has left all of that. Samutsrjya Tvam Upaishyati. He is running after you like a madman. Okay. Anyat Vikatanam Rakshasi Vakyam Abravite Asakr Devata Yuddhe Nana Gandharvadanavaha Nijjita Samareyena Sate Parshvamupagataha. The mic is passed on to Vikatanama Rakshasi. Right? Ekajata, then Harijata, now Vikata. Right? And she is also saying Asakriti Devata Yuddhe. He has won over Nagas, Gandharvas, etc. And he is somebody who is after you. So you better respect him. And te parshvam upagata, he has come very close to you. So you better become his wife. Tasya sarva samurdhasya Ravanasya mahatmanah kimadya rakshasendrasya bharyatvam nechase adhame. Narayana. Tasya sarva samurdhasya Ravanasya mahatmanah. Right? He is endowed with everything that anybody can think of. And rakshasendrasya bharyatvam. Right? You can become his wife. Na ichchasi adhame. He is using the param parushaya vacha. Right? This is something we cannot even hear. And she is talking of Sita Mata as an lowly lady. Right? Tatastu durmikhi nama rakshasi vakyam abravite yasya suryo na tapati bhito yasya cha marutaha navati chasita pangi kim tvam tasya na tishthasi. So he is not only courageous, he has won over Devas, Nagas, Gandharvas. Now the lady who is talking, what is her name? Durmukhi nama rakshasi. Right? What does she say? Remember who is Ravana, right? Yasya Suryo Natapati Bhito Yasya Cha Marutaha, right? Because of fear to whom the gods such as Surya, right? The sun does not rise, the wind does not sway here and there. Navati Cha Asitapangi Kim Tvam Tasya Na Tishtasi. Right? Do you not listen to who he is? He is a great person, right? In the Upanishads, right? Taittiriya Upanishads. It is mentioned that it is with the Paramatman's wish that the gods such as Surya, Indra, and everybody, they function. And here, interestingly, they are mentioning the same attributes to Ravana. And this is also true in one sense because at this point of time, he has won over all the Devas and he has control over them. Right? So that is the reason why it is mentioned in this manner. Pushpavrishtim chataravo mumuchuryasya vai bhayate shailascha subhruh paniyam jaladascha yedechati. Om bhishasmadvatah pavate bhishodeti suryah bhishasmadagnischendrascha mrityurdhavati panchamaiti, etc. is mentioned in the Taittiriya. I was just wondering what that is. The Lord reminded me what it is. It is continuing here. Pushpavrishtim chataravaha. The trees, they shower pushpavrishti simply because of Ravana. If he looks at the trees, the flowers fall down from the trees, right? Yasya vai bhayat, they are all afraid of him, right? Shailascha subhru paniyam, the subhru is an adjective for Sita Mata. You have such beautiful eyebrows, okay? Jaladascha yadechati, the great mountains, they start streaming fresh water just because of the bhayam of Ravana. And Jaladaha, the clouds also start raining just simply because of the bhayam with Ravana. So we should all think of the Tasya Nairta. The thing is, this factor of bhayam is there in two extreme dimensions. One is the Paramatman, Bhishasmat Vatapavate. The other dimension is the extreme Ghora Swarupam of a Prakriti or Rakshasam. So both of these have the ability to control all the devatas. In other words, in our body, right, all the tas sarva veda vidhi brahmanebhyo dive dive namaskuryat. All the devatas reside inside the body of a Brahmagyani, right? And we don't need to run from one place to the other. If we are close to a Brahmagyani, it is as good as being close to all the Tirtha Kshetras. And they have the ability to control. So the Prakriti has the ability to control the Devatas, and Devatas control our Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, and Manasa, Buddhi, etc. So the if we let it to the control of Tamas and Rajas, they will take you in one direction. At the same time, if you lend yourself to the control of the Supreme Being, it will lend yourself to a completely different direction. Both are equally possible. Tasya nairta rajasya rajarajasya bhamini kintum na kurushe buddhim bharyarthe ravanasya hi. Oh Sita, are you crazy? This is the Nairta Raja. He is the Raja of Southwest. Kubera Mulena Southwest. Isn't it? Anybody with Vastu knowledge here? Am I right? So Kubera is the brother of Ravana, and he is the Lord of Southwest also. So be careful about that direction. And you are verily somebody who can become his bharya. Why don't you have that buddhi that you become his bharya? Sadhute tatvato devi katitam sadhubhamini grihana susmite vakyam anyatha na bhavishyasi. Sadhute tatvato devi. So you, oh beautiful lady, you have a gentle smile on you, isn't it? Susmita, right? And we have all given you the proper advice so far, right? Ekajata, Vikata, Harijata, Durmukhi, etc., right? We are all the great ladies who have rendered extremely useful advice to you. This is the right time, no? It's time of Navaratra. So listen to us and ensure that you become the wife of Ravana. इत्यार्षे श्रीमद् रामायणे वाल्मीकि आदिकाव्ये चतुर्विंशतिसहस्रिकायां संहितायां सुन्दरकाण्डे राक्षसी प्ररोचनं नाम त्रयोविंशः सर्गः समाप्तः. Very short sargam, which is all about the way that the various rakshasis try to entice Sita Mata. We'll get into the 24th sargam, Chaturvimsha sargam, Rakshasi Nirbhartsanam. So further continuing the same trend of scolding, right? This goes into the next chapter. But this chapter will also have Sita responding to them, right? Tatasitam samastasta rakshasyo vikritananaha parusham parusha naryam uchustam vakyamapriyam. So they continued to speak harsh words towards Sita Mata in an unbecoming manner, right? What did they say? Kim tvamantah pure site sarvabhuta manohare maharha shayanopete navasamanu manyase. So in the previous chapter, it was all about Ravana and how courageous he is and what kind of a person he is. Now it turns towards the Aishwaryam that he has. So, to entice a woman, the first thing is to speak great qualities about the person, right? That is the first thing. Second is, what are all the riches that he has and how you can enjoy that, right? These are all ways of enticements. So what did they say? Antapuram is something which is Maharha Shayanopete. They are furnished with all kinds of great bed sheets and so on. So that is something you will really cherish. And Nanu Manyase, are you not willing to enjoy such comforts? Manushi Manushasya Bharyatvam Bahumanyase Pratyahara Manoramat Natvam Jatu Bhavishyasi. In the last chapter, it is more about creating an impression in her buddhi and mind. Now they are trying to entice the senses, right? So they are trying to create a feeling in all her prakriti that this is the person who you should wish. And the last slokam says, na bhavishyasi, that trend is continuing. You will cease to exist. That is the bhayam they create in the last chapter, and that is continuing here. And they are saying, Manushi, Manushasya Bharyatyam, you are, indeed the wife of a ordinary mortal called Rama. And you are thinking that's a great thing. That is Bahumanyase. You immediately Pratyahara Mano Ramate, disassociate your mind from Rama, right? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayamam, Pratyaharam, Dharanam, Dhyanam, and Samadhi, right? So they are the very object of meditation is Rama. And how foolish they are to say that you better remove your mind away from Ramam. Otherwise, Tvam Jatu na bhavishyasi. You will cease to exist. You will kill you. Trailokyava subhoktaram Ravanam Rakshaseshwaram Bhartaram Upasangamya Viharasvaithasukam. He is the Lord of all the three worlds. And he enjoys Vasubhoktaram, all the riches and wealth of all the lokas. He is a Rakshaseshwara. You better become his husband. Bhattan upasangyasya viharasva ethasukam. You can enjoy all the comforts of life, right? Manushi manusham tamtu ramamichhasi shobhane rajyat bhrashtam asiddhartham viklavam tvamanindite. So this is a technique they are now using to remove her mind away from Rama. See, both are important. One is to attract yourself towards Ravana. The other is to remove yourself away from Rama's thoughts, right? Manushi is a human being. And Ramam Ichhasi Shobhane. But who is Rama? He is Rajyat Bhrashtaha. He has lost his kingdom, right? He is now wandering like a mendicant in the forest. And Asiddhartha, Siddhartha, Asiddhartha. He is not somebody who has accomplished great deeds. And Viklavam Tvam Anindite. He is somebody who is right now in distress. And you are thinking of him. How foolish of you. Rakshasinam vachashrutva Sita Padmani Bhekshana Netrabhyam Ashrupurnabhyam Idam Vachanam Abhravite. Rakshasinam, having thus heard from all the Rakshasis, Sita is a Padmani Bhekshana, lotus-eyed, and she had teary eyes now. Ashrupurnabhyam, she started speaking in this manner. Enna solra? Edidam loka vidvishtam udaharatha sangataha naitan manasi vakyam me kilbisham pratibhati vaha. Loka vidvishtam udaharatha. So you all spoken such harsh words which nobody can listen to, right? Nobody who is sane will approve of the words that you have spoken. And none of you think of this as being a kilbisham, that which causes sin. Okay, that is the, if we do not exercise control on our tongue, right, it impinges on some other individual and it creates a samskaram called as papam, kilbisham. So that's the reason why we should be very careful of what we speak. Kilbisham. And none of you seem to think that this is sinful. That is what she is saying. Namanushi rakshasasya bharya bhavitumarhati kamam khadatamam sarva na karishyami vo vachaha dino va rajyahino va yo me bharta same guruhu tam nityam anuraktasmi yatha suryam suvarchala. Manushi rakshasasya bharya bhavitumarhati. A human being cannot become the wife of a rakshasa. It's very simple, right? Now, I give you the liberty to eat me, right? Kamam khadata, in whichever manner you want. That's what they are saying, right? Na bhavishyasi, will eat you, etc. Please have me as your lunch, dinner, etc. Na karishyami, I am not going to listen to your words. Na karishyami vaha vachaha. Remember, Dinova, Rajyahinova. Rama may be a Dina, distressed person now, or he is devoid of his kingdom, bereft of his kingdom, but he is my husband and he is also my guru, right? So this is the extreme support she is lending to Lord Ramachandra. She is ever wedded to him. Kaya vacha manasa tam nityam anuraktasmi. I am tied to him at all points of time, in a manner such as Suryam Suvarchala, the manner in which Suvarchala follows Surya. Then she gives more examples. Yata shachi mahabhaga shakram samupatisthati arundhati varshishtam cha rohini sashinam yata lopa mudra yatha gastyam sukanya chavanam yatha. I'm reading this because it is Navaratri. Navaratra. I didn't want to end with sorrowful states, but we'll look at all good husbands and wives. Let us remember them. Savitri Satyavantancha Kapilam Srimati Yata Saudasam Madayantiva Keshini Sagaram Yata Naishadam Damayantiva Bhaimi Patimanuvrata Tataham Ramam Patimanuvrata Sitaya Vachanam Shutva Rakshasya Krodha Murchitaha. So Sita is giving all beautiful examples. I am wedded to Ramachandra in a very similar manner like Suvarcha to Surya, Shachi to Shakra. Shachi is the wife of Indra, right? Arundhati to Vasishtha Maharshi, Rohini to Chandra, Sashinam, Lopamadra to Agastya, Sukanya to Chavana Maharshi. Okay, Atri Bhrugu Kutsa Vasishta Gautam Kashpa Angirasa Harshaya. Savitri to Satyavan, Kapila to Srimati, and Saudasa to Madayanti, Keshini to Sagara. Sagara is Sagaram. Sagaran ancestor. Keshini to Sagara. And Naishadam Damayantiva Bhaimi Pati Manuvrata. The Nala and Damayanti who are the eternal Romeo Juliet in our parlance, okay? Way beyond them, of course. And she is a Bhima's daughter, Damayanti. So in a similar manner, Tataham Ikshvaku Varam Ramam Pati Manurata. I am the Pativrata of Lord Ramachandra. So with these words, we'll conclude our session today. Enjoy the festivities for the remaining 9 nights as well as the Vijay Dashami day. So with these words, we'll conclude our session today.
Guru Charano Jaya Nirbhara Bhakta Guru Charanam Jaya निर्भरा भक्तः संसारादचिराद्भव मुक्तः गुरुचरणाम्बुजा कृष्णा कृष्णा सेन्द्रियमादेवं राक्षसी निज हृदयस्थं देवं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते
कायेन वाचा मनसा इन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्या आत्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि सर्वं श्रीरामचन्द्रार्पणमस्तु. Have a great day and a week ahead.
Thank you.
Happy Navratri. Thank you.
Namaskar.